All right, people. We know this weekend it's primarily going to be dominated by Fabio Wardley versus Justice Huni. We know that. That's on a lot of people's minds. But I think we might be forgetting that, well, look there on screen. Jai Opetaia returns to the ring. Claudio Squero is who he's facing. He is actually undefeated. He's actually undefeated from Italy. The Red Bull, 5'10", does bring to the ring an undefeated record. 17-0 with 9 KOs. But Jai Opetaia, well, Elizarro, that knockout is that's just something different, isn't it? That's just scary. Jai Opetaia is a very scary man, and his last performance, as you'll see on screen, against David Nyeka, I still am very, very angry with Team Nyeka for taking that fight, because I actually rated David Nyeka very highly, and too much too soon. There's no coming back from that knockout. I don't know. I don't think so anyway. But Jai Opetaia, for me, is one of the most exciting, entertaining fighters in boxing. One of the most scariest as well. I mean, there are two fighters. If you couldn't have a heavyweight, because I remember someone asked me in AD this question, AD man, if it can't be a heavyweight, who are the two fighters you would want, backing you up, like say on the street, that it would be a resounding Artur Beterbiev and Jai Opetaia? Because do you know why? Because it would never get to a fight. You take one look at both of those guys and you'd be like, the hell with that. Jai Opetaia has that look. He has that look of the hell with that. I want no part of that. Man is mean. Man is mean. And he is one of my favourite fighters. He is so aggressive. He hits so hard. He looks for the knockout. But technically, he's very, very good. His 2 fights against Mairis Briedis showed that. And it also showed me how good Mairis Briedis is as a fighter. I mean, this is a man who pushed Alexander Usyk all the way. Still gave him his closest fight in terms of Alexander Usyk potentially losing. Maybe not necessarily his toughest fight, but it's a fight that I felt Usyk won. But there's certain people who could make an argument. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. That is Jai Opetaia. Jai Opetaia has beaten him twice, and he beat him closely, but beaten him twice. In terms of the other fighters he's fought, the Jack Massey's of the world, I mean, Jordan Thompson, Elizarro, David Nyeka, these have been devastating knockout wins. He really does show his full power, his full force. He's obviously been in camp with Tyson Fury very, very briefly in the run to the Alexander Usyk fight. But Jai Opetaia, I mean, 6'2", 76-inch reach southpaw. It's hard to believe that he's actually been pro over a decade now. It's really crazy, because he only really kind of came on the scene around about 3 years ago was really when we started hearing about Jai Opetaia. It's when he fought Mairis Briedis, and when I look at his record, it's just knockout after knockout. And with the greatest of respect to Claudio Squero, I think is how you say it, I can't imagine that's going to change too much. In terms of the undercard, we have Tera Moana Jr., Tera Moana as he's also known. That's really the only kind of guy that I'm aware of on the rest of the card. I'm talking more about Jai Opetaia in this video, because Jai Opetaia at cruiserweight, he is just something altogether different. He really is a talent. He is a talent upon a talent. And I think it's not long before he's going to be undisputed. I think that I look at someone like a CBS, and he's looking at the likes of Badu Jack. I think CBS would probably have to beat him. Would I pick CBS to beat Jai Opetaia? Hell no. He's probably he would be the best UK fighter that he would have fought, Jai Opetaia. But I think he'd end up the way of the Jack Masseys, the Elizaris. Maybe not as devastating as that, but I think that's the way he'd end up going. The only person I look at and think that's going to be interesting is a man who's in action in a couple of weeks' time on DAZN, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. He's fighting the KO Doctor, Yurniel Dorticos, who's one of my favourite fighters, certainly of the last couple of years. Very very rare you see a Cuban who has the technique, and he does have technique, but he is all action, all about the knockout, the KO Doctor, and he is devastating. Once that fight ends, and I would imagine that Dorticos has probably seen better days at this stage in his respective career, I would imagine Zurdo will win. It has to be made, doesn't it? We've got to see Jai Opetaia versus Zurdo Ramirez. He has 2 of the 4 belts. Opetaia has won the IBF. There we go. I think we need to see this fight. And we are maybe talking a bit dismissively of his opponent, but I think that Opetaia is such a talent. He is just such a freak of nature in a good way. at 200 pounds, that the sooner he cleans up, and I think he will, although Zerdo will be tough, the better, because then we can actually see him in the ring at heavyweight. And I know Ade has said to me many times that in his opinion, in the next 5 years, the big fight, the super fight, the fight Fury and Usyk had last year that captivated the world of boxing and had us all tuned in, and it really did. The numbers were insane for that fight. The next one of these, the next fight like that, could very well be Jai Opetaia versus Moses Atauma in, say, 5 years' time. And I could easily see it happen. And I can see Jai Opetaia, when he does decide to move to heavyweight, maybe not be as successful as Alexander Usyk. I don't think he will. But I don't think he'll be unsuccessful at the same time. I think he'll do very well. And I can't wait for this fight on Sunday. It's actually on Sunday morning in the UK. So it'll be about kind of noon time UK time. It'll probably be evening time in Australia, as it often is. But I honestly can't wait just to see Jai Opetaia back out in the ring. He is one of my favourite fighters to watch. I will watch him until the cows come home, because you never can take your eye off his fight from start to finish. And we're talking very, I don't want to say disparagingly about his opponent. We're not really talking about him at all. We're being very dismissive of him. But I just look at the talent on display with Jai Opetaia, and I just think, how do you get round that? And I don't think his opponent can. I could be wrong, but we will certainly tune in on Sunday morning to see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Jai Opetaia, one of the baddest men in boxing, is back this Sunday, and I, for one, am really looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could, hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. Until next time.